Your buyers are asking every week, should I buy a new construction home or resell? And honestly, most agents fumble that question. They say, well, new homes are great because everything's brand new, or resales are better because they're in established areas. But that surface level answer does not help anyone. It just adds to confusion buyers already feel. Right now, buyers are throwing out incentives, sellers are cutting prices, and buyers don't know who to trust. And that's where you come in. When you can clearly, honestly explain the pros and cons of both without bias, you instantly separate yourself from every other realtor out there. Because buyers don't want a salesperson. They want a guy who helps them make the right decision for the situation. So in this video, I'm going to break down exactly to walk your buyers through this conversation. The key differences between new construction and resale. What to highlight, what to avoid, how to turn this education into serious trust and long-term clients. So buyers need to hear this conversation because buyers are so overwhelmed and they're hearing so many different stories. Because right now in today's market, there was an article, Realtor.com, saying that buyers who buy a new construction home could save $20,000 cheaper than a resale home. And also, these new construction homes are often this insane incentives to buyers because they're buying rates all the way down to like mid 3s to mid 4s for all these buy down rates. And also they're getting a new home. And the buyers they just don't know what direction to go because they're like, well, we could do a resale home because a resale home has established community, there's people who live there, has character, or we could do a new construction home and build a community with other people building a community that's brand new. So it's very important for you to clarify this and explain this to buyers and let them know between buying a new construction home or a resale home. And you want to just build trust. It's very important to be an expert in this field to make sure they understand so they can pick what fits best for them. At the end of the day, you want to be that realtor who the buyer could look as a trusted advisor making a decision buying a new construction versus a resale home. So now let's talk about the pros or cons of a resale home. So in a resale home, most of these homes are established in the community because established community, you have mature trees and it looks more curb appealing and people live there. Neighbors might know neighbors because they've lived in this area for a long time. Taxes might be lower and it has more character. The cons about this is that you don't know what you're getting yourself into this resale home. You don't know how old the roof is. You don't know if the HVAC is gonna go out. You don't know if insulated right. There's so many unknowns that you don't know. And also too, like some people might just want history. Some of them might want a community and they want stuff that's already built. And it's very important for you to prep your buyers for inspection and let them know that there are some things that might come up because we all know that buyers will find a home, fall in love with this home, and envision themselves living there. Then when inspection comes up and all these things come, sometimes it's heartbreaking for the buyers because they're like, oh, I thought this was going to be your home, but all these issues come up and we just can't afford, or sometimes a seller or some items might have as is. So this is very important for you as a real estate agent to explain this to a potential buyer in a resale home so they can know what they're getting themselves into. So let's talk about the pros and cons of a new construction home. Pros is that you could customize your home. You could pick the floor plan. It's energy efficient. The builder's offering warranties, incentives, layouts, so many bells and whistles for you in a new construction home because you're like, this is my home. I'm going to be the first person living in it. Let's pick the home that I want. But also there are some cons. It could be delays, meaning depending where you buy this new construction home. Because if, for example, I live in Denver and let's say Denver, yes, the weather's mild, but sometimes let's say there's a bad winter season snowing and it's delaying the builder to build a home. And also too, amenities, like in a new area, depending where it is, what amenities or what parks or what things they're going to have. Because in a resale home, if you've bought a home and they already built an amenity or community, if you have kids, whatever, you could like have the kids play in the park, whatever. But if it's a new construction home, let's say they're building all these new construction homes around the area and parking a future or maybe neighborhood pool, and these are things that are not built yet. Also too, you might have higher upfront costs. So let's say, for example, you get this home is already built, and let's say they built the home out and you have to spend extra money to build a fence, or you may have to spend extra money to have landscaping or whatever. There's extras, because when you buy a new construction home, it's like you have the base, the building, the roof, everything in it, but that could just be the basic model, and if you want to upgrade, it might cost you extra money for you to do that as well. And you use an agent, you have to explain that not better or worse, it's all about what fits their lifestyle and their timeline. So how to teach your buyers. So some ways to do this is visuals is a good learning tool, because buyers can see, because you could talk to a buyer and tell them lots of things, and what's going to happen is that they're going to get all the information and they're going to be overwhelmed and they might not be remembered. But if you have like a visual and a checklist, a chart, and then you can see everything, and you could explain what you explain to them, and you give them information so that they could go home and go over the materials that you explain, so they can decide if they want to do a new construction home or they want to do a resale home. And also, like, create a buyer guide. Like for new construction, like here's a checklist, like here's all the questions you need to ask when you get a new construction. And for a resale home, you could create a checklist for things to look, and they could compare apples to apples and see which one makes sense. And also, you want to educate your buyers. So education is very, very key in this market, because if you're an agent who can educate the buyers, they are going to feel like, all right, you know your craft, and they're going to feel like, all right, they are going to trust you. But if you're a person who is like fumbling or doesn't know the new construction or resale, and you are stumbling your words, they're like, all right, this person doesn't really know what they're doing, and they're not going to trust you making this decision. So to recap all of this information, your goal isn't to persuade the buyer like, hey, because new construction is the best and do this. And let's say, for example, you push the buyer for a new construction home and they don't like it, and they're going to come after you, or they're like, all right, I don't trust you. Your job as a real estate agent is like, you want to educate them between new construction and a resale home, and give them the pros and cons and let them know what's best. But at the end of the day, it's all about the client. And if you want to like build your own buyer education system or creating content like this for your market, DM me. I'll walk you through it. Like I have videos on new construction, like the pros and cons, resale, all kinds of good resource. If any questions, comment below this video and I'll be glad to share the information. And at the end of the day, as I said, just be a realtor who educates, not the person who sells.